Hi, guys. Welcome back to Sports with Mono and Mono. It's June 14th, 2025. Another rainy day in New Jersey. This is about our eighth consecutive weekend we've had rain. But of course, I'm here with Elijah Weintraub, my co host. Eli, how you
How you
doing?
doing, Jim? And yeah, we got rain. This is just getting annoying at this point. I mean, with the rain every Saturday, but more importantly, though, there's tons of sports to talk about today, some recaps, and we got plenty more to talk about coming up right here on Sports with Mono Mono. And that always starts with the monologue, sponsored by Coriano Trucking of Summer Hill, New York.
Yep. And it's U.S. Open weekend, Eli, and
Yes, it is.
Father's Day weekend, which is always great. The final's always on Father's Day Sunday. And um, no surprise, Oakmont is eating these guys for lunch. It's a very, very difficult
Yeah,
course. Give a little backstory here. They've held 9 previous U.S. Opens at Oakmont, and just on a personal note, I was there at Oakmont at the U.S. Open last time it was played there in 1994, which, by the way, was Arnold Palmer's final U.S. Open, and I got
wow,
and I got a chance to walk with Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus at Oakmont 31 years ago. Isn't that something,
wow.
right?
How special is that?
So it's great. We got a couple of little surprises. Like I said, there's only 2 guys under par right now, and it's notorious, the U.S. Open, for heavy, heavy rough. And if you don't find the fairway, you're going to pay the price. And
Absolutely.
some of the usual suspects, Scotty's 4 over. So right now, Sam Burns is leading at 2 under, and a little surprise with JJ Spawn. Held the first lead after 2 days for a little bit. And, but like I said, the U.S. Open is the U.S. Open. Today is what they call moving day. So we're going to find out who's going to be playing in the final groups. But don't write Scotty off just yet, because this is a difficult course and everyone's going to have their challenges. But it is a beautiful, beautiful venue for the U.S. Open, and very excited. And like I said, I want everybody, and Eli, I wish your father a happy Father's Day as well. Um,
Absolutely. Well, that's excellent. Yes, I will. And happy Father's Day to everybody out there. What a great weekend to watch some golf, some
yep,
hockey. No basketball till Monday, but plenty of other sports to
yep.
watch this weekend.
And let me just give a little fact from Oakmont about just how tough this course is to win at. And like I said, there's been 9 previous Oakmont U.S. Opens, and only 2% of the field of all of those tournaments were under par. That's, I mean, that tells you how tough it is to win the U.S. Open at
It really
Oakmont.
is. That's how tough it is. Wow.
Isn't that an amazing statistic? But
That is
I hope
incredible. Yeah.
I hope everybody enjoys it and watches it. Nothing better to do on a rainy day than watch the U.S. Open. It's great.
Absolutely.
Yep. So Eli, take us into the week of sports, because we got a
Yes,
lot
well, I want
to
to
discuss.
start off with some of the recaps. Before we get into tennis, I want to start with the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga Springs. We'll start with that first,
Yep.
as once again, Sovereignty wins the Belmont Stakes. And it was what a great race that was.
It
Journalism
was.
comes in second. Really thought they had it there, and Beza comes in third. And just like that, if Sovereignty would have played in the Preakness, guarantee you we could have had a Triple Crown winner already this year. It's
Mm,
crazy to think about, but
yeah.
once again, 2 of the 3 races go Sovereignty. Journalism takes the Preakness one, and there's your Triple Crown races now
Yeah.
officially in the books and over.
Yeah. They were actually great races, and I had Baeza was my throw in could to take the mix, and what I think about, like I said, because the Belmont is normally a mile and a half.
Right,
At Saratoga, it's a mile and a quarter. And
correct.
if you looked at the race in both Sovereignty and Journalism, we're a couple lengths in front, but Baeza was actually coming on. So maybe that quarter of a mile difference dictated the winner
Really
of that
made a
race.
difference. Absolutely,
Yeah.
no
So
question.
good thing it'll be back at Belmont for the mile and a half next year, and then we'll see. We know we got the Travers Stakes coming up, and we'll see, whether or not Sovereignty or Journalism continue their careers, or they just go out to stud. And
And disappoint, yeah.
yeah, so we'll see about that. That was
Yeah,
great races, though. All three of them were. All three of them were.
absolutely. The next one we'll talk about, let's go right into tennis. We'll put up tennis talk right now. What two great matches overall for the men's and the women's. Coco Gauff wins the women's and the men's side. It's once again Carlos Alcaraz. What a great matches overall. And I was actually watching the women's one last week. That was a pretty good one there.
Yeah, and just for the record, I had Sabalenka. I didn't think Coco Gauff was going to win that tournament, but she won handily. And you gotta shake your head at Sabalenka. She kind of came off as a kind of a sore loser type thing. Made some statements that she that Coco Gauff really didn't beat her. She beat herself. Those kind of things that has no place in sports. Coco Gauff won it, and you know what? She is a rising star for sure on the women's side. And
Absolutely.
Eli, like you said, this was an epic, epic French Open final. 5.5 hours to decide.
Yeah.
After Alcaraz goes down 2-0 and he battles back, it was one of the great tournaments. The best tournament I had seen before that was probably like the 2008 Wimbledon with Federer and Nadal. So we talk about this, and Alcaraz is 5-0 now in Grand Slam finals. So this kid's made for the big time. He's only 22 years old. So we're going to have, this is the changing of the guard, right? It was unusual
Absolutely.
not to see Rafael Nadal play in the French Open, and but you have the Sinners, and you have, the Tommy Pauls and Zverevs, and those are the guys. Sinner, this is the next guys that are going to take us into the future for men's tennis.
It's excellent. That's for sure. All right. Well, that concludes tennis. Let's go to the NHL because the NHL is tonight. We want to talk about that because they're playing tonight. What a series that is. Their series is tied at 2. And out of 4 games that we've seen, 1 did not go to overtime. The other 3 did. And 1 game featured Taylor Swift. And just like that, we have a tied series at 2. And heading into Edmonton tonight, 8 o'clock on TNT and True TV for game number 5.
It has, Eli, it's been a great series. I mean, you just look at some of these. It's exciting. The last game when Edmonton's down 3-0, they battle back, take the lead, and then Florida ties it with 20 seconds left. It goes to overtime. And, listen, talk about being made for the moment. This guy, Leon Draisaitl, for Edmonton. Of course, we have Connor McDavid, which, I picked the Edmonton Oilers to win this series, but it looks like it's going 7.
Yeah, I agree with that one. Yeah.
That's the 4th overtime goal for Draisaitl in these playoffs. So
that is incredible. That it really is incredible. And what a series. I mean, they're going back at it left and right. They're down to the wire moments. That's what we want to see in a hockey game. And it's proving it exactly. This is the final that we all want to see. I don't know about who's winning it. I'm going to go with Edmonton now. I don't know how my original pick, but yeah, I'm going to go with Edmonton to win it now.
I thought your original pick was the Panthers, my friend.
I think it was the Panthers, but I think I'm going to switch it to Edmonton now. I don't know. Something's telling me. Maybe it says Taylor Swift luck. I don't know.
Jumping on the Jim bandwagon, I see.
I might have to switch my pick to the Edmonton Oilers to win it now, based off of the way they've been playing.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, of course.
It really
the other news,
but great series so far. You're right.
The other news happening, TJ Oshie, he announces his retirement from the NHL after 16 seasons. He is a Stanley Cup champion, played over 1,010 games, 302 goals scored, 393 assists, and 695 points. Wow. That is awesome to see.
I'll tell you, Alex Ovechkin's going to miss TJ Oshie. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, you got that right.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll be next to go, but to retire at least from the Capital side of things. But yeah, what a career he's had, and overall, what a great series in the Stanley Cup final. Overall,
I got one other NHL note and kind of thing. It's the end of an era in New York for the Rangers. Chris Kreider was traded to the Anaheim Ducks.
Yep.
So it's almost like the West Coast, New York Rangers, because you got Trouba there and you got a couple other ex-Rangers there. So, but Chris Kreider gave everything. He was a great, great player. Gets traded and 3rd all-time goal scorer for the New York Rangers and 1st in power play goals. and it's unbelievable because it just seems like yesterday. I remember he was playing in the NCAA finals with Boston College, and then he comes out, went right from playing in the championship game to joining the Rangers in the playoff run back in 2012. And,
Yeah.
He's been nothing but class for the Rangers. And I'm kind of sad to see him go, to be quite honest.
All right. Well, it is sad for the Rangers on that part. However, us Devils fans can just go,
Yeah.
see you later. Well, yeah. But overall, great series down in hockey. Switch my pick. I'm going with the Oilers. I think now, based off of the way they've been playing, they got it. So that's my pick. That's our hockey talk. Let's go into another sport that's been very popular: the National Basketball Association and the NBA. Last night, the Thunder, they tie it up 111 to 104 the final. And we are going to game 6. Game 5 is coming up on Monday, 8:30 on ABC. Game 6 has now been forced. That game will be on Thursday. And we have a tied series at 2 heading into game 5 on Monday. What a series this has been.
It has been. And I think, listen, the Pacers, there's a couple of ways we could look at this. Did we underestimate the Pacers or did we overestimate the Thunder?
I think we overestimated the Thunder. That is what I believe.
But they bounced back, and that was a golden opportunity for Indiana to go up 3-1, and that could have been the deciding game. But now it looks like we're going to go 7 again. It has been very, very exciting, but give credit to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, scored 15 points in the last 3 minutes and 50 seconds or something, and he certainly played like the MVP last night, didn't he?
Oh, yes, he has played like the MVP last night for sure. But Haliburton has really been the star, I think, for this Pacers. And I've been really been just in awe of what he's done, especially in that game 1. And I think that's what's going to help this Pacers, that game 1 motivation. They need to win this next game. That is crucial. If they win the next game, I think the Pacers would be the front runner to win it all. Thunder, same thing. They just got to keep it up. It's going to be tough playing on the road now. You're going back to OKC for game 5. If you had a 3-1 lead, different story, but now you don't have the lead. It's going to be definitely difficult down there.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a war.
It is.
And like I said, Indianapolis, even if Indiana doesn't win it, I mean, I really do see as Haliburton stepping up. And you know what? I mean, if they don't win it, he played, like he should play. And, as far as him being the most overrated player in a player's poll kind of thing, he sure hasn't played like it. But they're still in this. They still have a chance. So there's 3 games to go, and we'll see how it plays out.
Absolutely. We'll see how it goes. And the other note from the NBA, Nuggets, Russell Westbrook denies a $3.4 million in his player option for next season. And as of June 30th, he'll become a free agent. So some shocking news for the Nuggets and Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, well, how about this also? It's almost the same story year after year after year. So the Phoenix Suns are going to trade Kevin Durant. So he'll be on his 8th team in the past.
So does he go to all 32 teams before he'd retires? That's the main question.
Yeah, but he's not going to retire.
I mean, really.
He's going to get another $45 million a year contract to play for somebody else, and we'll see how that goes.
He's going to be on every team at this point.
Yeah,
even the expansions when it happens eventually. That's the way we're seeing it here.
Yeah, and also from the NBA, of course. I mean, what a mess this has turned out to be for the Knicks. They can't get permission to talk to anybody. They can't hire a coach. So, yeah, they didn't have a game plan going in, firing Tibbs right away.
No, they did not.
Because they didn't have their eyes set on somebody. And now we're hearing, other names now coming. Jay Wright turned it down, of course. And the Mavericks, Jason Kidd's not going anywhere. And, so now you're getting recycled guys like Mike Brown and, who was the other name this week they were talking about? Mike Brown and somebody else. I heard some rumors they were.
Yeah, there was a couple of people. Yeah. I can't think of the top of my head, but yeah. Let us know in the comments, by the way. And you can always email and comment anytime here on the show.
Yeah, I'd love for people to, all our Knick fans out there, tell me what do they think's going on? I mean, what's going to happen? I mean, are they going to have to make this blockbuster trade? Is Kevin Durant coming to New York, which would mean that Karl Anthony Towns leaves New York? So right now, from a Knick fan, I'd love to hear comments about it because it seems like a mess right now for them.
It really does. It really is a mess right now. We'll see. Again, feel free to comment anytime. Anything you want to talk about throughout the show, or you send us email at sportsmonomano@gmail.com.
Yes, sir.
Let's go now to the MLB because right now, although the Mets lost, they are on a hot streak. 45-25 is their record. They stand in first place in the National League. Detroit stays in first in the American League. And with the Rockies have only 13 wins on the season.
Well, they did win the other day, so they didn't break the didn't have the all-time worst start ever.
So congrats on the win.
Solace,
Yeah. But yeah.
But you're right. The Mets, Eli, they're winning games, and Soto's starting to heat up, and Alonso's having a monster year for his, they got the best record in baseball, and of course, the Detroit Tigers. This is certainly a surprise to everybody that they got the best record in the American League.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Yeah, but look,
and then Judge last night. I don't want to talk about it because it just can he do this in the postseason? Like, really?
I know
it's fantastic. It's great. I thought that was amazing, and I'm glad that the Yankees could see this. But because baseball is such a long season, it's not like 16 games, 30 games. There's 160 games. Like, gosh, if you count
162,
162. Just come on, really? Like,
I know. But he's having a monster year. I mean, this guy is just coming up big right now. So, and you look at some of the other players. I mean, I see this Paul Skeens in Pittsburgh. I mean, he's almost unhittable right now.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you got Skubal, who's kind of carrying the load for the Tigers, and so Ohtani's cooled off a little bit, but it does appear, Eli, and I'm not sure. Like I said, my feelings on this. I wouldn't make him pitch.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Well, I just wouldn't do it. I just don't think.
Leave him to hitting.
Yeah. But it looks like he's going to get a start this year before it's over, I think.
I think so too, but I personally think he needs to just stay DHing, hitting. He's doing fantastic at that. That's a specialty. Don't ruin it for this Dodgers team.
Yep.
And they're only stand in fourth place. They have 41 wins. I mean, they're going to be moving up the ladder very soon. So
well,
they're not like out of reach, and you could try this, experiment as you will.
Yeah, and a couple of surprises. I mean, like, people always put the Phillies up there, but they're struggling. Atlanta's struggling, and
yeah, it's a surprise. A lot of these teams. Baltimore's been struggling. These are teams that we're supposed to be seeing that in like the first top 5, top 10, really competitive. But as you know, in MLB baseball, it's always a roller coaster ride. It'll always start with the down. Maybe right now that's their decreased moment, but maybe they'll gain momentum again. Maybe they'll go back up this roller coaster ride and maybe eventually clinch that spot. We will have to just wait and see for sure.
Yeah, it's and what a year Max Fried is having. You want to talk about a great signing for him? He was so psyched. His dream was to play for the Yankees, and he's pitching like he's going to win the Cy Young Award this year. Like I said, it'll be between him and Skubal, but what a year he's having. He just came. He's
been playing excellent.
Outstanding. And hey, we're going to have a Giancarlo Stanton coming back.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, we're going to make some comeback. We're going to.
Yep. He had his rehab start over at Somerset Patriots last week, and looks like he's ready to go. So that's not going to hurt their chances at all.
Nope. It's going to be great.
Unless he comes out and gets injured in 5 minutes, which is possible.
But we hope that does not happen, though.
Of course not.
Of course
not. But Eli, so just on that note, let's stick with baseball because the College World Series is pretty exciting, actually.
Yes, it has been. It really has been such an exciting, a lot of great matches and games, and it's heating up for sure.
And what about the surprise Cinderella story so far? Murray State, right? Murray State.
Yeah.
Right? Going up against the big boys, Coastal Carolina and Louisville and Oregon State. But like I said, we're not going to have a repeat champion as Tennessee was eliminated already. So this is wide open, but it's very exciting. And
it is pretty exciting, and we're just getting started. The bracket is just beginning and filling up, and it's just a moment we're looking for. I mean, great matches so far, great games, and We're just in the
Coastal
mix of it.
Carolina, remember, they won a national championship a few years ago, so they're not new to the dance here. But
No, they're not.
Murray State sure is. But it's unusual not to see like Florida or LSU or Tennessee
It's
in there. But
yeah,
we got a whole new thing. But if you get a chance to watch some of those games,
yeah.
I would recommend it because it's really exciting. I like
Yeah,
it.
I personally have not watched a ton of it. I've only heard of a couple of the stuff happening, but you got to start tuning in. I guess it looks pretty exciting for me for the College
Yeah,
World Series.
it sure is. It's really good.
Let's gear our attention to some soccer. I want to talk some soccer real quick.
Yep.
And I'm sure Diego's gonna be happy because the CONCACAF, I'm gonna say, I hope I said that right. CONCACAF is happening right now, or well, this week it's gonna be
I
starting.
believe it's CONCACAF.
CONCACAF. All right, thank you,
Cool.
Jim. And I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong, but yeah,
No,
that's happening this week. It actually starts tonight at 10:15 on FS1. You have Mexico taking on Dominican Republic. Taking a look at who's in which groups and all. Group A is Mexico, Costa Rica, Suriname, and Dominican Republic. Group B is Canada, Honduras, El Salvador, and Caraco. Group C is Panama, Jamaica, Guatemala, Guadalupe. And Group D is USA, Haiti, Trinidad and Tobago, and Saudi Arabia. The USA
no.
takes on Trinidad and Tobago tomorrow at 6 o'clock on Fox. At 8:15 on FS1 tomorrow, you have Haiti and Saudi Arabia, and 11 o'clock on FS1, Costa Rica and Suriname. Great matches overall. This is like the mini little cup competition. It's called the Gold Cup in
Mhm.
advance prior to the World Cup happening just a year away now. Can you believe that? It's we're a year away from happening
I
here,
know.
the USA, Mexico, and Canada. So pretty
Yep.
exciting stuff down in for the soccer
Yeah.
happening here.
And just recapping, Portugal beat Spain last week for the Nations League um, final, and yeah, I'm admittedly Diego's helping me out, but I'm learning a little bit more and more about the
Yeah,
soccer and
I'm
all
learning
these.
some stuff too. I've been Googling around and stuff, and maybe Diego can catch us up and fill us in more details. Love that. Send us an email, comment. We'll love to hear it.
Yeah,
And want to go to the other sport that's very popular, the WNBA. We're in the middle of the Commissioner's Cup right now. And how about those New York Liberty? They're still perfect, 9-0 entering today's game. Minnesota Lynx did get their first loss, so now they're at 9-1. So the only team still undefeated right now is the Liberty. The worst record in the league is the Dallas Wings at 1-11. A big game today. If there's no sport that you feel the interest in watching today, here's the sport that you should watch. And WNBA basketball, 3 o'clock on ABC. The Indiana Fever are home to take on the New York Liberty, a perfect team. And you have Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. What a great matchup that is, a great game. Will New York get its first loss, or will New York continue its winning streak? Great game. That's at 3 o'clock on ABC. 1 o'clock on CBS has LA versus Minnesota. Another great game to watch over on CBS and on local TV tonight, Seattle and Golden State. Tomorrow's games, you have Chicago and Connecticut, 12 o'clock on CBS. A great game there. Atlanta, Washington, 2 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. And Phoenix, Las Vegas on local TV. But the main game to watch today and for the weekend for the women's basketball is New York and Indiana. Caitlin Clark, UNESCO on ABC.
Well, I certainly do appreciate you. Certainly have a handle on what's going on in the WNBA, but I think I'm going to probably pass on those games and watch the U.S. Open. Just saying. Just
Okay,
saying.
well, you fill me in on the World Series and U.S. Open. I'll be taking a look at the women's basketball and
All
stuff.
right. That's perfect.
Has Caitlin Clark returned for the Fever? I don't believe so. No, and that was Tom Pugh commenting.
Yes, Mr. Pugh from Kansas City. And Tom, thank you very much. I know you guys have had some terrible weather out there over the past couple of weeks, so I hope everybody's safe and sound out there. And like I said, we're getting closer to football, and things are starting to heat up here. But Caitlin Clark certainly is the face of WNBA, no
Well,
doubt
she
about
is
it.
expected to return for today's game, so that is some brighter news. But yeah, this will be her return game today versus Liberty, so that makes this game even more interesting and special.
And it was something interesting. I've kind of noticed. I saw a lot of feedback, like people criticizing Angel Reese, like she can't shoot or something. As far as I could see, and you're certainly our resident expert. I mean, she's putting up some pretty decent numbers. Am I missing something, or
Is
why
it
is
just
she getting
It's just good
So
basketball. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. Just good numbers and good basketball. I mean, the competition's weak, and that's how you're able to score so many points and a team leader, and that's what you have there.
yeah, but seems unusual that she's getting some criticism for this stuff.
I think
I
it's
don't.
just like some of the controversy with outside basketball, the comments of the referees. I heard that's like some issues that are going on with her as well.
Yeah, I mean, I
Would you-
did see her give a what I appeared to way I saw it was a real flagrant foul on somebody. And I don't know if it was
Yeah.
who it was on, but that was kind of that was a rough style of play.
And before I get to the comments, I just want to say Caitlin Clark has been the good luck charm for this Indiana Pacers team and giving them those wins. Whenever she's at the games, it's a win. So maybe she's got to go to more games and support this Indiana Pacers team to give them maybe a championship. We'll see. Tom comments, yes, we have. I said hi to Dorothy. And Michael Garvey says she is back today. So thank you, Michael, for that. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think the reference to Mr. Pugh was Dorothy because it was kind of a Wizard of Oz reference, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Nothing
right.
gets past us here on Sports with Mono and
Of course not. Absolutely. Well, with that, I think it's time for some random points, and that is going to be sponsored by Lynch Toyota of Manchester, Connecticut. And yes, Tom Pugh, he did write down, yes, it is Oz for Tom Pugh.
I knew it. I knew it.
All right. There you go, Jim. You got it right on the nose.
All right, Eli, start us off with your random points here.
All right. Well, baseball usually finishes in a day, unless you're Don Bosco, because Don Bosco won their game in not 1, but 2 days. And no, it wasn't because of weather issues, it's because of the lights. Don Bosco took care of business in the non-public A state championship, winning in 11 innings in 2 days. The game started on Wednesday. The game started at 7 o'clock. But due to lights being turned off just before 11 p.m., the game was suspended until the next day. And then Bosco did its magic, and the final score 5-4 and 11 over Christian Brothers, and Bosco becomes your non-public A champions. From the non-public B side of things, Gloucester Catholic wins 7-4 over Pope John. Only took a day to play, though. But however, Bosco leave them 2 days to take the victory there.
Yeah, I think Gloucester Catholic is one of the best teams in the state. They may even be number one. But congratulations to Don Bosco and
2 days, not one.
One of our
2 days.
listeners. Frankie was a former Don Bosco Ironman baseball player himself, so I'm happy for him. Right.
And then the best part is it took 2 days. Now I think the whole light stuff that's getting annoying. Really, let the guys play baseball. Really, who cares about the lights? Like you have to turn them off. Really, like play the baseball game. That's what makes it exciting. Yeah, but I mean, you have a restriction. Like this is baseball. This is a championship. Leave the lights on until the game comes to a close. No need to have a setting to turn it off. Come on, really? I don't know. That's just my opinion. Continuing on. NCAA basketball announced the rule change, allowing a coach's challenge at any point in a game to review out-of-bounds calls, basket interference as goaltending, and secondary defenders in restricted areas. An extra new rule for men's college basketball includes a player who ends in his dribble heading toward the basket and observes contact will be permitted to pivot or complete the step the player to finish its spot. So yeah. So some new rule changes in NCAA. College game day will start at Ohio State University on August 30th for the matchup of Texas and Ohio State. That'll be Lee Corso's last headgear pick ever.
Okay, I was going to ask you, is Lee Corso still going to be doing college game day?
It'll be his last ever that game and that college game day. A former Bengals linebacker Furman Pratt signs a 1-year deal with the Raiders. The Broncos signed running back J.K. Dobbins to a 1-year, $5.25 million deal. And the Texans signed running back Nick Chubb to a 1-year, $2.5 million deal. And the last note, I just think this is just amazing how one person survived that Air India plane crash this week. I don't know how that happened, how one person survived. 241 lives were lost from the plane, multiple on the ground in the building, but amazing how that one person did survive.
Isn't that
really
unbelievable?
Unbelievable to see. And last night there was controversy. Stephen A. Smith was caught playing solitaire during the game, and it's been going viral all morning on social media. So instead of watching the game, he was playing solitaire in the audience, caught there. So interesting stuff down there.
Wow, gets paid $20 million a year to play solitaire, huh? That's great.
Yeah, that's great, great, right? We do here. We don't play solitaire here on Sports with Mano Mano.
No, we don't.
And from the Tonys last week, George Clooney did not win a Tony. That went to Cole Escola, the male leading actor in a play. Nicole Scherzinger won the Best Leading Actress in a New Musical. Maybe Happy Ending won Best Musical. Purpose won Best New Play. And Sunset Boulevard won Best New Musical. And Plus Play Revival went to Eureka Day. And how about that performance of Hamilton throughout that Tony Awards? If you haven't seen Hamilton, you got to watch Hamilton because that just goes to show you what kind of cast, what kind of music and what they perform there.
Yeah. Well, I was wrong on that. I picked Clooney. I thought they were for sure going to give it to him.
Absolutely. I thought so too.
Right. Good night and good luck. That kind of thing.
Tom Pugh writes, Stephen A. Smith is a class act. And there it is. No question. All right, Jim, it's all yours.
All right. Well, I got a few here. So another one from the former athletes gone bad, right? Antonio Brown wanted on attempted murder charges. I mean, again, we could do this every week, Eli. There's always somebody in the news or going off the rails.
I mean, not just him, a couple other people, but we'll save that for a different show. Do that. Leave that to our investigative correspondents. But
I mean, this guy had just a great career, and then it just went off the rails. I don't know what to say here.
You know how.
And here's an interesting thing. So the owner of the New York Jets, Woody Johnson, is considering buying a stake in Crystal Palace, from the European League, and there's I saw something about it, Eli, because there's an owner who owns Crystal Palace, but he also owns another team. So Crystal Palace can't make these tournaments because of the conflict of interest. So if Woody Johnson buys that team or a portion of that team, then they can make it. And listen, Crystal Palace actually beat Manchester City in the Premier League tournament. So I never really heard of them, but they seemed to be relevant.
Before we focus on other teams and purchasing Crystal Palace, can we focus on the Jets itself? How about that? Focus on winning, going to a Super Bowl, going to the playoffs for once. Let's focus on that before we start purchasing other things. Unless you really want to sell the Jets, then that's a different story. But
I can't.
Focus on the U.S.
Woody Johnson is just kind of an inept owner. He's got all the money in the world, but they can't get it right in New York. So anyway,
wow, different argument for a different day.
So Eli, there was this Tiffany Stratton. You know who she is? She's a UFC fighter. Okay, she threw out the first ball at the Mets game last week, and it may have been the worst first pitch ever thrown. It kind of rivals
Stephen A. pitch.
Yeah, Stephen A. and also, what was it, 50 Cent? He was the other guy that had the worst. This was, oh my God, she's an athlete, and she threw it almost into the stands. It was funny.
Well, I think we just got to point out, though, that let her stick to wrestling and not stick to throwing baseballs. I think let's leave her to that specialty. Tom Pugh asked the question. Let me put that up real quick. Hold on, lost it. Are you going to talk about Aaron Rodgers signing with the Steelers?
Absolutely not.
Next. Continue right along, Jim.
I know he was asking that because he knew what my answer was going to be, but I appreciate his sense of humor there. But
we're gonna just roll right along, just move the show.
Right. And another one, and this it's close to home because both, like I said, my sister, my brother, and my niece all attended Boston University. So there's kind of a scandal there. Again, one of those accusations of abuse by a coach and a sports athlete.
Well, unfortunately, this has happened. It happens everywhere, though. I mean, Seton Hall had the same thing just a couple days ago. I mean, it happens, unfortunately, everywhere. You know, it's sad to say, but it happens, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but why is it keep happening though? It's crazy. I don't understand this.
Because
I
there's
mean,
no,
especially
it's tough to
nowadays. After,
understand. Oh, and Tom says,
yeah.
by the way,
Anyway,
what big news? What big news? That's what he meant to say. What big news?
that's good
Aaron
news.
Rodgers.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers. Come on.
So listen, Eli. Also, the New England Patriots will be unveiling their new Tom Brady statue outside Gillette Stadium on August 4th, I believe, a preseason game. So
Okay.
I guess, listen, if anybody deserves a statue for the New England Patriots, it's got to be the guy that won 6 Super Bowls with them, right?
I mean, Tom Brady is pretty much the face of the NFL. I mean, he is the greatest of all time, and there is no question. I
Yeah,
mean, you can throw out another name, but I can tell you Tom Brady is the greatest right now.
yeah. And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna read the book called The Dynasty coming up. That was given to me by our sponsor, Lynch Toyota. So, okay. So that's my wrap up on random points of interest. And like I said, if you guys have something you guys want to talk about, send us a message, send us an email. Sports with Mono and Mono at
At
Gmail.
gmail.com. All right. Well, with that, let's go right along into the entertainment and photo segment that is sponsored by Vital Selections. You could scan this QR code to learn more. Jim, you're still there? I think we may have lost you. Jim, you there? Jim, I think we lost you. You might have to go back in and out. All right. Well, until we get Jim back, he's currently lost. We'll get him back in a moment. It's time for the entertainment and photo segment, sponsored by Vital Selections. So some couple of movies and shows we'll talk about until we get Jim back here. We talked about the Tonys, and if you missed Hamilton, you got to rewatch that. And of course, you can watch Hamilton on Broadway or on Disney Plus. If you haven't seen Hamilton, you got to see Hamilton on Disney Plus. Really good to see. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, ABC is showing America's Funniest People, an AFV special that is happening tomorrow, followed by 9 o'clock, a new show called Underdogs, which will also air on Disney Plus and Hulu. That's happening on ABC. It's in honor of its anniversary, NBC is airing Jaws, the movie, on Friday night, the 20th, this week. So the anniversary for Jaws is coming up, so NBC will be showing that at 8 o'clock on Friday. So you may want to check that out. And we're getting Jim back here. Jim, you're there.
Yeah, we're here. Sorry
there we
about
go.
that.
All right, excellent. So I just did my notes. I said Hamilton. If you haven't seen Hamilton, did you watch Hamilton yet on Disney Plus?
I did not, but I
you got to watch it.
I know. I will.
And I also said Jaws is gonna be on NBC on Friday, 8 o'clock for its anniversary, along with America's Funniest America's Funniest People AFV special. That is tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. So you may want to check that out, folks.
Wow, 50 years since Jaws came out. Believe it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh yeah, it's a really good movie, and that happened this Friday. Is the special on NBC, so you might want to check that out. All right, Jim, it's all yours.
Oh, not again. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're good.
All right. Okay, so my movie recommendation is Patton with George C. Scott, and can't believe I haven't brought that one up in days past, but it's a great movie. The opening scene of him making that speech to the troops is absolutely classic, and big fan of that. 1970, but George C. Scott played that role very well, won the Oscar for it. Great movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
Excellent. All right, then. Let us show some photos and some videos.
You don't have a movie recommendation for us?
I did. I just gave it when you were gone.
Oh, what was it?
I said watch Hamilton on Disney Plus. If you haven't seen Hamilton, you have Jaws premiering on NBC on Friday the 20th.
Oh,
its
okay.
anniversary, and America's Funniest People, an AFV special tomorrow at 8 o'clock, followed by Underdogs on ABC.
Cool.
All right. Here we go with some photos.
All right. So this is my grandson, of course, and I'm going to get to the reason I posted this They won their championship. First and foremost, though, that's my granddaughter and her dance recital. I guess it's some sort of a spooky theme or something, but look how cute
Yeah.
she is there. And I think, yeah, there's Logan's team. They won this championship. Um, what a bunch of what a great bunch of kids and resilient. They were clearly, some of these other kids are a lot bigger and so forth, but you can't teach heart. And these guys fought and scrapped, and congratulations to them for their championship. It's awesome.
Excellent.
He likes to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stance.
Yeah.
Woo!
Woo!
Oh man.
That was fun.
Oh.
Wow, isn't that something?
Isn't that great? Really was
Excellent
great.
there. Wow.
But congratulations to them.
All right then.
On to the
Let us
next
go-
tournament, I guess.
Yeah, on to the next tournament. Yeah. Let us go to some notable passings.
Go ahead, Eli.
All right then. Here we go for notable passings. I'll kick it off on, and we're going to start off with Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys. Passed away at the age of 82. He was born in 1942.
Yeah. We can't just we gotta kind of talk about the impact
Okay, go
that
for
he
it.
had. And the Beach Boys, like I said, were just a phenomenon. And then the Beatles came and they kind of, took a backseat to the Beatles like everybody else did, of course.
Absolutely.
But Pet Sounds is considered one of the greatest albums ever made. And Brian Wilson, had struggled for years and years and years. It's well documented and so forth. But the music that those guys produced, that is a big, big loss. And I know my brother saw. I think Brian Wilson did a concert. Maybe it's 10 years ago or something. I think he played the Pet Sounds album. But I wish I
Okay.
had seen that. That would have been great. But certainly notable in the world of music. Absolutely, Brian Wilson and the Beach Boys. So, as you said, Eli, he was 82 years old, but left an indelible mark on the music world.
Yeah. And Anita Lewis, former MTV star, has died at the age of 52 due to breast cancer. She was born in 1973.
Yes, and somebody mentioned that to me, and I said, "Oh, those were past my MTV days." But no, and then I saw the picture of her, and I absolutely do remember Ananda Lewis doing. Was it Total? What was it called? Total Request Live back then, right? It was on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, she was only 52 years old. Wow, that was sad.
Sly Stone, a music legend, has passed away at the age of 82, born in 1943.
And absolutely, that's two big losses in the world of music, because the Sly and the Family Stone. And Eli, you said you like some of the old 70s music. Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure you know some of their music,
Oh, absolutely.
like Dance to the Music, Everyday People, and A Family Affair. These are well-known
songs.
music.
Absolutely.
And I even saw that Mick Jagger wrote a nice little piece on social media about the impact that Sly Stallone had on the Rolling Stones. So that's as high as a compliment as you can get. But
Absolutely.
yeah, and it's funny because I just saw on CBS Sunday Morning a piece on Sly Stone and his kids and so forth. And yeah, he was in bad shape, but that's a big loss in the music world. Brian Wilson and Sly Stone. Yeah, same week.
Yeah. The last one is Pippa Scott, who was in The Searchers and Auntie Mame, has passed away at the age of 90.
Ooh, okay. I have one, and this is going to be one of those. You'll probably have to look at the picture, but Harris Yulin
Okay.
was 87, and he was really in a ton of movies. So if you look him up, you'll recognize him. He was in Scarface and a lot of other movies, but he also, I believe, Eli won an Emmy for his role on Frasier, of all
Oh,
things.
wow. Interesting.
Yeah, he was 87 years old, but you would certainly recognize the face. But long career, definitely. And I liked him in his role in Scarface. He played this corrupt police officer, but
Yeah.
he ends up getting it at the end, like everybody else in Scarface did. So,
Absolutely.
All right,
With that,
that's
what a great show. We had some issues. We do apologize about that, but overall,
yep.
what a great show. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And just like that, we'll be back next week. We have a program alert. We'll be live at 8 o'clock next week, not 10. So you do want to point that out. We'll be at 8 o'clock next week.
Yeah. Right. Yes. So we have a little scheduling change. So everybody, you just have to get up a little bit earlier or just sleep in and listen to the show when you get back. But so yeah, 8 o'clock, and we've done that before. And
We've done that
kinda went
before, and
off
actually,
pretty
we've
well.
got a lot of views actually during our 8 o'clock show. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, we've had a great thing, and we're trying to line up some different guests and so forth. So
yeah, this is
we're
all
really
ahead.
gonna have a good summer on Sports with Mono and Mono because there's so
Oh,
much going
absolutely.
on. Right.
Plenty more ahead.
Right. But again, to everybody and all our loyal listeners and fathers, Mr. Pugh and all of them, Andy Carolins, all of our loyal listeners, the Orlowski clan. Happy Father's Day, everybody, and
Happy
enjoy
Father's Day.
enjoy your day and enjoy watching the United States Open because that's what I'll be doing.
All right. Well, enjoy
All
the
right,
game
Eli.
and have a great weekend, everyone.
Yeah.
See you all
Thanks.
Saturday, 8 o'clock.
Thanks for everybody. And again, if you always want to send us an email, we're happy to get them. So send us an email at sportswithmonoandmono@gmail.com. We'll see you guys next Saturday at 8 a.m.
All right, everyone. Have a good day.
Have a good week, everybody. Bye.
Bye bye.